Well, hey there, friends. It's been a little bit, but I'm back. Not with an episode, but with a commercial of sorts. More of an infomercial. It's with our good friend and former co-host and current chief technical officer of the Our Voice USA group that created HelloVoter and HelloVoter HQ, Mr. Corey Henderson. Give us an applause.
The microphone or something. There you go.
How's it going, Corey?
I am doing just fine, thank you.
Oh man, that's great. You know, I have to say, I know exactly why you're back. You just pushed a really big update on the app, and I noticed that, you know, you've been really, really focused lately and seem to be cranking out updates at a record pace. And I gotta ask, you know, I mean, we've known each other for a while, and this is just unlike you. Are you okay? Are you taking some performance enhancing stuff for tech dudes, or did something happen at your day job, man? What gives?
Definite no on the performance enhancing stuff. Sometimes I wonder, but that's not me. So
Good
yeah, I'm glad you noticed. Changes to my role at my day job have given me a wider perspective on the concept of what product is and what it means to say highest value work.
Okay. So what did that entail?
We're doing what's called an Agile Transformation, and there's a lot of focus on the culture of DevOps, and that got me really fired up. And it's taking a step back and seeing the whole process and be like, how do we eliminate waste, and how do we bring value, and all of that good stuff.
Wow. Okay. So it's making you a more efficient app designer.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I've been applying it to this new vision to HelloVoter and how we can scale up and how we can go faster.
That's awesome. So what is one of the things that you want to apply to this HelloVoter? Like what would you want the people who are out there thinking about using it that they might be able to get involved with?
Well, the biggest, most roadblock thing that we've had over the past year is people say it's hard to onboard users to this tool because not everyone's techie, not everyone really understands how signing into an app works. And that's really what the focus has been the past couple of months. Once I realized, hey, onboarding people is the number one problem, and that's the highest value work.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like you capture someone with your attention-grabbing tweet or Facebook post to try to get them to come volunteer, and they get interested, and they follow the steps, and then somewhere between them being interested and them actually getting to take action for you, you lose probably way more than 50%.
Yes, and that's tragic. And the truth of the matter is you have to make it so easy for anybody to get involved. That's got to be the thing you focus on first. And this update that you just talked about that we pushed really, really focuses on that, because now we're to a point where a canvassing organizer can do the prep work to say, okay, anyone who scans this QR code can canvass in this area. So you so your volunteers show up to their events and they say, download this app, scan this QR code, boom, you're ready to go.
So QR code, that's like the square picture with the Rorschach test that's in the middle of it, right? A bunch of black dots.
Yeah.
Pretty much in lines and things. Okay, so what? Like a campaign manager can create their own QR code to then spread all of the information in one shot?
That's right. So from a community organizing perspective, you have the community manager says, okay, here's all the different blocks or turfs, and I'm going to delegate to someone in each turf, the local leader or delegates or whatever they're called on the context of what the organization is. And okay, you're in this area, you get this QR code. You're in that area, you get that QR code. And that leader knocks on the doors, hey, do you want to canvas with us? And if you do, just scan this or download this app and scan this right here, and now you have access to this area, and any door you knock on, there's info in the app, and any updates that you make to it get back to HQ.
That is fantastic. Okay, and I heard inside that description there you mentioned community organization, and that's really important to point out, I think, because it's not just for people trying to run for office. It could be for absolutely anything, especially trying to get people to get out to vote, trying to move citizen referendums forward so that you can get the things you need. Okay, so something else I've heard you mention around the office is something I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought maybe it had something to do with those performance drugs, but of course you're not on them. So just spill the beans. What is chill mode?
Yes, Canvas and Chill. So the app tries and pulls new data every time you move it around. And on some older phones especially, that can drain the battery and that can use up your data. So chill
Oof.
mode, hey, I loaded the pins in this area. I'm going to move around and I don't want to drain my battery as fast. I don't want to use up as much data. So chill mode is to make the app chill a little bit when it comes to that stuff.
Awesome. So like, let's say you might be down to 25% on your battery or something, and you have to run back to the car to charge it again. Chill mode could possibly keep you from having your phone shut off completely.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that sounds really great, man. Chill mode. So I guess the next best question is, what comes next?
Well, as we're working on the onboarding new organizations, because that's a big thing, we can slip some other stuff in, and we're going to make improvements to the survey data collection tool. We're going to add the ability to phone bank, simply because phone banking is really canvassing from your couch.
Absolutely. That's my favorite kind, by the way.
It shares most of the same kinds of functionality. And then after that, one thing I thought of when I was working on the QR code was scanning driver license barcodes.
Really? Now, hold the horses. To a lot of people out there who might be a little more woke than others, that may be something that's a little bit scary, but I do surely hope that you have a way of explaining this so that people can understand exactly what's going on if they were to scan a driver's license.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're open source, so anyone who knows code can go look and see what we're doing with it. And we're doing exactly what we say. And here's the two things we can do with that.
Okay.
Number one is we can auto-populate a voter registration form from their driver's license.
That sounds like a good fun.
And the other thing is we can validate someone ID against their voter record. Because what you find in some places is when you have Robert has his middle initial on his driver's license, but not his voter registration, and the county clerk looks at that and goes, I'm going to throw that in the trash. That's an invalid ballot.
Wow. Actually, that is totally remarkably important. So really what you're saying is that this will be able to help combat voter suppression tactics.
That's exactly the purpose, yes.
And I just, on a side note, I had learned that on many things, as we've all learned, having to sign your name on those digital pads whenever you swipe your card at a register, your signature actually doesn't seem to matter at any point. You could draw a clown, I bet, and you can get away with it. I mean, don't try this at home, kids. But the one place where your signature actually does matter completely is at voter registration. So the way that you sign that and the way it looks, and whether or not you use your middle initial, your full name, a shortened version of your name, if you signed up by accident with your married name or you used your maiden name. So this could potentially help completely correct all of these problems. And even if it isn't really voter suppression, but just a mistake that's happening, we can solve a lot of those issues at the time of people trying to vote, right?
Right. And what a lot of people don't realize is the feedback loop that is available with elections, and how there are organizations that try to do this election integrity where the city or the county or whomever is running the election does keep a regular update of who's voted, and they get that information, and that's how you get exit poll surveys. And if you tie that data feedback loop into this kind of tool that we're building, then you can get a really good idea of who says they are voting and whose votes actually made it through. And if you can show that they are tossing people out for these small little inconsistencies, it's actual proof.
Absolutely. So maybe somebody could file a proper lawsuit against it and be able to make drastic change in a shorter amount of time.
Right. And when you enable lots of people to do this with a tool, then lots of people will do it. And it's not just the cries of the few that see this problem, it's the cries of the many that see this problem.
Engage, empower, enable, dude. That's what I'm hearing.
So
wow.
Onboarding new orgs that do this kind of work to use this tool, because right now they're just using pen and paper, many of them.
That is amazing. So we could speed all their processes up. Even organizations that their whole focus is just to make the ballot box correct, right? Like, these aren't partisan groups that are trying to fix this voter registration issue. I mean, there are partisan groups out there, but the ones that could benefit from this are the ones that aren't receiving, millions of dollars in funding so they can keep their computer programs running, so they can, I don't know, my vote feels like I'm putting it through a paper shredder out here in Portland, Maine. So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't trust it. Wow, well, that's a whole lot to think about. And in not trusting that, though, I have to say there, listeners, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote. In fact, it means more than ever, you need to vote. More of us need to vote. If we can overwhelm these things, then it makes it much more difficult for them to hide the numbers of suppressed voters that are happening. 10,000 is nothing compared to like having to hide 1 million votes, right?
That's right.
Wow, Corey, you have given a lot of us a lot of stuff to think about, and I hope everybody out there downloads this app so they can start testing these things and letting people know like what they like, what they don't like. They can make comments on the website, but they could also go to GitHub and actually make requests for changes. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, and could you walk somebody that doesn't really understand exactly how they would go about that, how they might?
So you go to GitHub and you create a user account like you would on most websites.
Okay.
And you just search HelloVoter, all one word, and it should take you right to the right place. And when you get there, there's an issues tab, and you can say new issue. You put the subject in your description. It's like writing an email.
Awesome. That sounds pretty easy.
And then our team sees that, and we can comment on it, ask questions, ask for clarification, and go ahead and fix it when we got the bandwidth.
Fantastic. Okay, well, you hear that, guys? You have a mission. Download this app and then tell us what the hell's wrong with it.
I would sure appreciate it. Criticism especially tells me what I need to fix. A lot of high value work comes from criticism, and I felt so criticized a lot over the past year when they're saying that just how hard it is to onboard people, and I eventually got it working great.
Glad to see the motivation's working, man.
It truly is.
Well, Mr. Henderson, it has, as always, been a pleasure and an honor to have you come on the show, putting in so much time and effort and expertise and research and know-how into this amazing app. And I just have to say out there, anybody knows JavaScript and UX can, help build your resume. I hope you take it easy, Mr. Henderson.
You too.
All right. Bye, folks.